Hey everybody, and welcome to Swan's Japanese Horror Reviews. Now today's episode is a special one because I've been getting a lot of comments and questions if I could review some horror from other countries, particularly Korean or Chinese, some other Asian horrors. So today we're actually looking at a movie called Three Extremes, and it's going to make everybody happy because it's got a Chinese horror, a Korean horror film, and a Japanese horror film. Three short films are all about 45 minutes in length or so. And it's quite nice, so let's get down to business. We'll start with the first film on the DVD. That would be Dumplings by Chan. Now I have to admit I don't really have much experience with Chinese horror films. Mainly I've only watched mostly Japanese horror films. Yeah, I've seen some Korean ones as well. So it was quite interesting to watch Chan's Dumplings film. Dumplings tells the story of a woman who's always trying to make herself look better. She's getting older now, and her husband is not paying much attention to her. He's having affairs with other women. So she goes to this younger looking woman, and she is making a special dumpling that apparently if you eat it, you'll regain your beauty or regain your looks. But what's inside the dumpling? And it's quite shocking, and this one is, of the three movies, this is probably the grossest of the three. There are definitely some cringe-worthy scenes. There's a few scenes in there that the first time I saw them, it was quite something else. I mean, this is Three Extremes, and this is the Chinese extreme, really. So yeah, it was quite an interesting film. The next film on the DVD comes to us from the director of Oldboy, Chan-Wook-Park, and this is a film that's called, quite simply, Cut. This is a lot different from the other two films on this DVD in that this one has a lot more dark humor in it. Some people might be a little confused. It balances a lot of tension and anxiety and fear with these strange dance routines, darkly humorous moments. But I think that's what makes the film interesting, is that it kind of goes from both ends of the spectrum, really. The story of Cut revolves around a popular Korean director whose life is put in jeopardy when an extra who had appeared in all of his films basically ambushes him at his house and his wife, essentially, and then he's tied up in a room, and the wife is super glued. Her fingers are super glued to a piano, and if he doesn't act quick enough with the demands of this crazed extra, then the man will cut off one of the woman's fingers every 5 minutes. So yeah, this one's definitely a lot more visceral. This one has a lot more violence going on in this one, but also, yeah, like I said, some darkly humorous moments. Finally, the third film on the DVD comes to us from famous Japanese director Takashi Miike, who I've been covering in the reviews here recently. This was the movie that I was most looking forward to, just because I'm a big fan of Miike, and I have to say, it does not disappoint. This is Miike at a very subtle and a very beautiful level. This is probably one of his best pieces of work, I have to say. I really put it up there with Audition. This one is very subdued, it's very relaxed, but at the same time it's really creepy and it's really unsettling. The story of this film, Box, revolves around a woman who's now a writer. Now, she used to be a contortionist in the circus with her twin sister when they were like 10 years old. But her sister was having a sexual affair with the man, the ringleader of the group. He was like a mime, and he was in their act, so he was a pedophile. And she was jealous that her sister was getting all the attention, getting all the support, and getting like little gifts and stuff, and she wasn't getting anything. So this causes her to do some pretty horrible things to her sister. There are some sexual scenes in this one, but it's not over the top, though. The themes of pedophilia might be a little off-putting to some, sure, but I think that Miike handled it in a fairly subdued way. He didn't go over the top in this one. And this one has the biggest payoff at the end for me. Like, the last scene that you'll see in this film, it has stuck with me since I've watched the DVD. Like, that is a haunting image that you will see. So really look forward to it. It's quite good. The DVD comes to us from Lionsgate Films, and it's quite nice. It's a 2-disc set. There's a feature-length version of Dumplings, so if you wanted to be grossed out more and see more to the story, then that's for you on the second disc. There's the normal trailers that you see on all these DVDs, but most interesting to me was that there was an audio commentary with Takashi Miike for the Box film that he directed, and that was really good. You get some insight into what he was thinking in the making of the film, so yeah, definitely a very nice DVD set, and I would really recommend it. What I really enjoy about watching Three Extremes is that you're going to get the whole spectrum of what makes a horror movie great. So if you're only into like gore and violence, you're gonna find stuff like that in here. But there's also stuff for everybody else. There's the moody and creepiness, as well as like the tension and the rising fear. And there's even a little humor here and there, and some definite gross out moments here and there. Three Extremes for me is gonna get a 9 out of 10. It's getting a lot of high praise from me. I think that all three movies are good, and because they're so different from one another, it makes for a really great viewing experience. The DVD, while the extras are sparse, the what's there is really good, and I was really glad to have that commentary from Miike, so that's going to get like a 7 out of 10 for me. So yeah, thank you for joining me on another episode of Swan's Japanese Horror Reviews. It was really fun to bring in the Chinese and Korean films in this one. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it, and as always, we'll see you next time.